Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today we're going to talk about the emergence of Satanism as a rebellion against the church itself. Now, after after the first millennium, the church was in trouble. The destruction of Rome because of earthquake, fire, famine made people doubt the religion itself. They doubted that humanity could even survive. And there was a movement of survival of the fittest where those most powerful people began to take advantage of the situation. Now, in the feudal society, land was sacred. It was the most sacred thing, and it got passed down from father to the oldest son and never split up. That's how it retained its power. But what about the younger children in the large families? A lot of the younger children became key players. They got key positions in the church. They were educated because they were part of the elite, part of wealthy families. They were educated, uh, and they got these positions within the church as political positions, as positions of power, and spirituality and religion didn't have a lot to do with it. And a lot of these people abused the position that they had. That caused the common people, the average people, to really begin to, like, what kind of religion is this anyway? Uh, you expect all these things of us, and then you're being so evil yourself. Uh, so there was a lot of disquiet. The common people. This was not the teachings of a love-based religion, and they were in rebellion. And they screamed out, "Hey, we've got to reform the church, get rid of this corruption, and bring it back to the message of Jesus, which was a message of love and a message that the common people could understand. I believe a message uh, of organic Gnosticism, but that's besides the point here. The general population didn't like the abuse that was going on. Now, the church at that time was divided into monks and priests. Most of the priests were actually married. But Pope Gregory VII proclaimed celibacy for the priests, and he incited the monks against the priests. Pope Gregory was a monk himself. And there were horrible consequences to this because the population threw themselves upon the priests who were hated, the priests who refused to give up their wives. The general population was just looking for an excuse to overthrow the corruption within the priesthood. Uh, and they turned on the priests. They drove them away from the altars, beat them, and mutilated them, tore them to pieces in the church itself. And they began to spit upon those things that they had revered as holy. They drank holy wine mixed with urine and desecrated the host. The power of the priest was broken. Only monks and the Pope now ruled the world. No one believed in the priests anymore, and you could argue that this was really the beginning of Satanism. But it was actually part of the church itself by doing these things. Dunstan permitted a concubine of an English king to be mutilated. Pope Gregory VII, again, rewarded an abbot with a bishopric after the abbot had a monk castrated. The theologian Bandel openly taught that married priests should be killed. The church pushed women away as unclean animals, as serpents of Satan, and as eternal death and damnation incarnate. Pietro Damiani roamed around Italy preaching in his sermons and attacking women. I am talking to you, scum of paradise, bait of Satan, poison of the soul, spear of the heart, all dressed up with jewels, you little chicks, she-wolves, insatiable bloodsuckers. That's the kind of thing that the church was preaching. The holy doctors declared that man should distance himself from woman. Peter of Lombardy professed that marriage was a sin, at least a venial sin. From this, you can tell that the 1,000 years from the time of Christ, there was a balance of sexuality, a balance of the male and the female. Marriage was allowed among the priests. But there was a division there. Sexuality was allowed. But after the destruction of Rome and the movement away to Avignon, that's when these things started. And it just got worse as time went on. And this is really what's happening is actually where you take the religion of the simple folk, the nature religion, the pagan religion. If you take the organic Gnosticism that they believed in and embraced, and they instinctively knew that love relationships and balanced male-female relationships were powerful and empowering, and they helped to develop the soul of both men and women. They understood that instinctively. But they were being told by the authorities, they were being told by the elite, they were being told by the powerful church that all that was wrong. And a lot of them rebelled. But their rebellion became twisted. Instead of being a healthy rebellion of organic Gnosticism, which was in their roots, what's in their nature, they combined that with a rebellion against the church, a rebellion against the priest, a rebellion against the Mass and the host and the communion. And all of those things began to get twisted. But it was twisted against the church, and it became very powerful, because when you take something that's taboo and you break that taboo, there's a psychic release that's very powerful, because you're no longer a slave of that taboo. This is part of the powerfulness of this, because the common people were, for the first times, they were allowed to rebel, to revolt, to kill off the priests. The church itself was allowing this, saying, hey, go ahead and do it, because they got it wrong. We got it right. Just some thoughts to think about. I'm done for this video. If you like it, please share it with others. Uh, Visit my website. The link is below. Subscribe to this video and my website. You're going to miss things if you don't. And consider a small donation if it's possible. There is a donation link on my webpage. All donations are appreciated, believe me. It will help what I'm doing. Thank you, and have a blessed day.